Hey everybody, Corey here coming at you with another knife first impressions video. For those of you who aren't aware, I don't do this for every knife. I do it for the knives that I think are the most interesting or the ones that I'm most excited about. So up top, we've got the WE Knives Quixotic. This is a brand new 2022 knife that just came out in March. And we've got the Kubey Knives Veloce. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it's how I pronounce it. So there you go. This came out, I think, about 6 months ago, and this has really flown under the radar. I didn't see it until recently, but as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it. So let's talk about the Kubey first. We'll move on to the WE second because I've got a few comparisons for that one. And I think there's something to talk about. So Kubey, I won't talk too much about Kubey. I don't want to rag on Kubey. But you know, I think if you've been in the knife game long enough, you know that there's a certain perception about Chinese knives, Chinese manufacturers. And for the most part, I don't like those stereotypes because there are a lot of Chinese knife companies out there making great stuff. For me, I look at most of what Kubey makes, and just personally for me, I feel like it falls in line with the stereotypes. A lot of it looks poorly designed, or it just doesn't speak to me, or it looks like they're trying to like cram high-end materials into as low of a budget as possible, and it just some the Kubeys I've handled, they haven't really done it for me. But this one specifically, it's no surprise that I like this one because you can see right there that logo, Manganas. Now, I'm not going to go too far into the story here, but long story short, whoever this guy is, he posts a bunch of knife designs on Instagram, and like they never, ever, ever get manufactured. And all of this guy's knives, I love them. I love all of his designs. And to my knowledge, this is the only one that has ever actually been manufactured. And you know what? I don't care if Kubey made it. They did a darn good job. For starters, just straight from the factory, this thing is just a hair away from being gravity shut. I mean, this thing is just buttery smooth, like nobody's business. The flipper is great. The reverse flick is great. It came very sharp straight out of the box. Only complaint so far is that the blade to handle ratio is a little bit off for me, especially with this finger choil. You don't get a lot of sharpened edge for a knife this size. Normally you would see a little bit more blade there. But I mean, really it's just a nitpick because it cuts, it's made well. The fit and finish is good. For me on this one, it's the small details that I really like the most. And I'll tell you, there are three things, okay? Three things when I saw this knife, I was like, yep, I want that. One, we've got a full titanium backspacer with a lanyard hole cut out of the back so that it doesn't interfere with the design of the knife. But for me, I love backspacers. I feel like they complete knives. They make them feel sturdier. They make them look more aesthetically pleasing to me. I love full backspacers. So that was the first thing that drew me to this knife. The second thing that drew me to this knife was the milling on the lock bar. I can't think of a purpose that this actually serves, but it's cool. It's just a weird little touch. And it's one of those things where when we're talking about knives at this price point, which you're looking at about 170, get it on White Mountain Knives, 10% off, it's basically like 150, right? Okay, so 150 for titanium and S30V. You don't see a lot of milling on titanium knives. You get a lot of boring knives around the $150 price point. So just the fact that, you know, we've got this cutout here and we've got this milling here. And then finally, the last thing that really hooked me was the like micro milling on the inside of the chamfer, the scalloping on that lock bar. You see those lines in there for added grip? Something as small as this was enough to show me, I go, okay, someone's paying attention to detail when they built this knife. And I just had a really good feeling about it because of that. Because nobody does this without really thinking through their choices on a knife. So for me, you know, last thing I'll say, I showed this to my girlfriend. She said it looks like the knife that Batman would have if Batman had a knife. And honestly, I kind of get that. It does come out in a fully blacked out version, or it does come in a fully blacked out version if that's what you're into. But this one really surprised me. I'm really happy with it. And for 150 bucks, I think this would be pretty hard to beat. I didn't mention it before. I also love that the edges are rounded and they don't just come to a fine point, especially on the back. The way that the back is rounded, the knife is just really comfortable. So this one's a hit for me from Kubey, which is something that I never really thought I would say. Next up, we got the WE Knives Quixotic, and there's a reason right? Ironically, I just made a video called Make We Knives Great Again, and I was talking about how we used to do just a ton of cool stuff and cool machining and cool milling, and they had cool designs and they had cool finishes, and they just haven't been doing it anymore. Some people might look at this and they would say, you know what? That's still kind of boring to me. And you know what? If it was up to me, they didn't have an option for this, I wouldn't have gotten a black blade. I would love to see this with a satin blade. But alas, here we are. And honestly, I think the black blade works. It's just, you know, not my taste necessarily these days. But this has that signature Wii finish. This is the finish that we used to put on absolutely everything. They anodize the first layer like a brassy, bronzy on the titanium, and then they coat it and then they weather it basically so that you've got some of the black coating, but then the bronze kind of starts to shine through. I love this design, and hey, look, there it is again. I'm a sucker for backspacers. When I saw the backspacer, I'm sorry. When I saw the backspacer, when I saw the machining here, this stepped machining, it's almost rounded, right? It's clearly not rounded, but it gives it the effect of feeling as if it's rounded all throughout the knife. You know, the jimping up here, the fact that the blade stock is only 0.13 inches as opposed to the 0.16 that everyone does so that their knives just don't cut anything anymore. And then the chamfering on the inside of the handles as well. You could just tell that this thing was going to be comfortable, and honestly, it is. For me, the Quixotic is a knife that hits my taste these days aesthetically, right? This is about as edgy as I get these days. You know, the fact that it's all black, you know, gave me a little bit of pause, but you know what? The clip is well done. The design is well done. The finish is well done. The blade cuts like nobody's business, which is my favorite phrase these days. The jimping is good. Just everything about this is so nice. And you know what? I think Wii is working at their best here. You know, when I see something like this, not surprisingly, here's its big brother, my Chimera, the Wii Knives Chimera. And you can see, let's get that out of the frame for a second, right? This is the knife that I posted in that Make Wii Knives Great Again video. And I think it's pretty obvious, right? Like, we're dealing with two different beasts here. But, you know, they've got the same finish. They've got the interesting stuff going on. They've got a full back spacer. I mean, this is what I've been looking for when it comes to Wii. And you know what? Let's just get the whole family here so you can see what my taste is. Bam. I mean, for me, when it comes to Wii knives, this is the Wii Knives Scamp, by the way. This is the finish. This, like, black and bronze finish. You cannot beat this. There's just... Yeah, absolutely cannot beat it. But yeah, the Quixotic, ironically, I have less to say about the Quixotic than I do about the Kubey, because it's a Wii, right? Like, Wii is already notorious for making good knives, right? So for me, it wasn't really weird that this knife was good. I was just satisfied, right? This is one I thought it would be good. It is good. It's very stout. It's very sturdy. You can just tell. You can just feel that it's made well. You can feel that it's tight. You can feel that the tolerances are good. And on top of it, I think it looks pretty sexy. This is definitely going to be when I'm not in the mood to carry my murderous, gigantic Chimera, but I'm still looking for something that's just a little bit dangerous, right? Just a little bit sexy. Absolutely love this finish. Absolutely love this knife. Nothing but good things to say so far. So I wanted to get this one out there because this is a brand new knife and people might be looking for this. And if you're looking for a review, I'm sorry this isn't a full review, but I think I can safely say you can buy this one with confidence and you'll be satisfied. If you're an action nerd, here's the one thing I'll say. It's definitely shake shut. It is not drop shut. You can get it there. And obviously this needs a little bit more breaking in, and I did actually loosen the tension on the lock bar a little bit on this one, but based on videos I've seen, this one's going to be a little bit on the stiffer side if you're looking for like a fidget toy. But also something cool about this, before I cut this off, look at that flipper tab. Look at how obscure that flipper tab is. It's very unobtrusive, and you know what? I was afraid that because it was so tiny that you wouldn't be able to light switch it. It light switches like a dream. They've really dialed in the detent on this one, but I do think it was clearly made to be push buttoned, but good news, you can do it either way, and honestly, I almost like light switching it more. It's just really well done. This is Wii at its finest. Make more, just like this. Make more just like this, okay? Thank you, Wii. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. See you guys next time. I still got a lot of knives in the pipeline, so stick around. There's going to be some cool stuff coming up. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.